WGR Live. I feel like I've done this introduction 3 times because I have. But you know what? Sometimes you have to fail forward and make some mistakes to get the show on the road. So hey, let's go. If you are looking to buy or sell real estate in the state of Utah, get a hold of me, the WGR Real Estate Sales Team. Send us referrals here. If you're looking for coaching, go to fearlessagent.com as we're waiting for Cody Gibson to pop on. Hey, I see Cody Barton popped on. Put a yes in the comments below if you're as cool as Cody Barton. You better be putting a yes. We got Lynn popped on, Irina, Adam Nick, Austin Weiser, David the Ziki. I still always mess that up, dude. Steve Wilcox, how you doing? Oh yeah, Cody Barton. He is as cool as Cody Barton. That's good to hear. There's Cody Gibson. Now, I'm going to be quick and to the point with him simply because he's got a lot of information that can help you grow as an individual agent, but as a business owner. That's one of the things I love about the company I work with, Keller Williams, is it teaches us to be business owners, not just to be sales agents. Cody, can you hear me? You're good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see me?
Yep. Hey, guys, put yes in the
Nice.
comments if you can hear Cody. You look better now than you did 5 seconds ago, so I'm glad that you put some extra makeup on. Appreciate
Perfect.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, so real quick, guys, hit that share button so that we can get Cody's video out there to more people. Cody, in 60 seconds or less, tell us the condensed version of where you were to where you are today, where you started, where you're at today in your real estate sales business.
Well, I started in the year 2000 when dinosaurs roamed the earth, as far as real estate goes, and it wasn't that long after we were using press hard triplicate type forms. In fact, there were still people in my office who had carbon paper forms. So it feels like the year 2000 wasn't that long ago, and it was a long time ago in real estate terms. I started the Portland Real Estate Group in 2010 in Portland, and since then we've expanded into 68 or 69 different markets. And so since 2010 is when we've worked on being of course, expansion is where we're spending all of our time at today.
So before 2000 to 2010, you were not expanding. What were you doing those 10 years?
Oh, easy. So from 2000 to 06, I was an agent. I was a real estate agent, and I went on appointments, and I sold homes, and I went on listing appointments, and I prospected, and I had a database, and blah 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 blah. I either had an assistant or didn't have an assistant, off and on, and I didn't know anything about having a team. I mean, in Anchorage, Alaska, in 2000 to 06, that wasn't a big deal, and in 06. Somebody I had lunch with was starting a Keller Williams franchise in Anchorage, and they were looking to hire a team leader. And I said, they said, well, gosh, who do you think might be a great team leader candidate? And I said, you're looking at him. And I really didn't even know what the heck that meant. And we kind of both chuckled, and then we looked at each other and went, well, let's talk about that. And 10 days later, I was at Mega Camp in 2006, and I spent the next 5 years being a team leader of a new office.
So 2006, 2010, team leader, growing that office, that's where you really
Correct.
started with your recruiting process, yes?
Yeah, I mean, that was where I learned. I mean, honestly, that's where I got like I don't know, Colton, I don't have an MBA. I didn't go to college. I don't have a college degree. I found myself selling real estate. I didn't grow up thinking, you know what, someday if I do the right thing and I get good grades, I'm going to be a real estate agent. Like, I didn't think that. I mean, I just found myself being an agent one day, and I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't have a P&L. I didn't have a budget. My one bank account, for the first few years was the same bank account my commissions came into, and the same bank account I bought a cup of coffee at Starbucks from or paid my rent. I didn't know anything about running a business. And so really, being a team leader at Keller Williams gave me, I mean, I like to say that it was my comeuppance or my college degree in the business of real estate.
So when you were growing up, like, ideally, what do you think is an awesome income for you?
Well, I mean, if if you were a close friend of mine, you knew my life story. I grew up wanting to be a Navy SEAL, and when I went to the Navy SEAL entrance program, they tested my eyes and said, we want you to be a Navy SEAL, and you're colorblind. And I said, well, what's the problem? They said, well, if we ask you to cut the blue wire and you cut the brown one, that's a problem. And I said, well, that makes perfect sense. And so at the time, I didn't even think about money. And when they called me back 2 years later and said, hey, we'll allow you to have color corrective lenses, I said, how much does the job pay? And at that time I was already making 100 grand. And when they told me how much the job paid, I said, I'm out. That's not worth it. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, I used to think a six-figure income, someday if I just work hard, I'll make 100 grand.
So fast forward now, 2017, you're in 69 different marketplaces. How many sales people in your organization?
As of today, we have 121 sales associates, and some of those have been with us for a week or a few days, and some have been with us for a few years.
Okay, so now you got 100-something sales associates. What's your target number of units and revenue, gross commissions this year for the business?
So this year we should, the number that we watch the most is opened escrows. And so when people talk about productivity, I'll usually have a conversation around, are we counting escrows opened or closed? And the challenge with closed is that when you're in a massive launch phase, close always lags well behind escrows. And so the number that I know, like I'll know every single day how many escrows we've opened this week, today, this month, and I'd have to go dig around to find out how many we've closed, because one's the rearview mirror and one's the windshield. And so when I look at numbers, what we look at this year is we're on track right now. We just had three consecutive months of over 100 escrows in a month. We had 118 escrows one month, then 111 escrows, and then 106 escrows last month. And so we've had 3 months with triple-digit escrows. I think that we'll end the year somewhere around 1,050, maybe 1,100 new escrows for 2017. Some of those will close in 2017, some will close in 2018. Some won't ever make it to the finish line. They'll die a fiery death of real estate sales that never made it. I mean, you know how it is. Though the number that I look at is how many escrows can we put in. That we have control over. I don't believe that as agents we have control over how many close. I think we can influence how many. I mean, just hey, I lost my job. I'm not buying the house anymore. Or, hey, we're not moving anymore. The job transfer fell through. I refuse to be in a position where my business is dictated by things I can't control.
Yeah. So it sounds like lead measure for use, under contracts, new pendings. What
Correct.
about, do you focus on a lead measure with your agents as far as appointment set, or more just under contract?
Well, it depends. I mean, so in our world for expansion, we use regional directors. And so regional directors, so I have a regional director. So our biggest region's in the Southeast, and we love the Southeast region. And the regional director for Keller Williams there, of course, is Cheryl Sidoti, and the regional director for United Home Group there for us is Chad Hyams. And so Chad has direct conversations with the associates in that region about, how many appointments, what's happening this week, how many contacts, what are we doing? And then of course the number that I watch is the escrows.
Cool. So let's kind of switch gears. What took you from a salesperson, was it just a team leader position, but to an actual business owner? What was the shift that had to happen up here and with the actual actionable items?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The first was honestly treating it like a business. So the first was actually sitting down and writing out a true business plan. I mean, I think we overtake the most simplistic things. And I think that the most simplistic things, I mean, as real estate agents, we have a really good knack of taking the easiest thing and making it so difficult, or in our mind, making it so difficult, in a sense, giving ourselves some type of excuse or reason why we're not doing it. And we take the most mundane, simple, easy things and make it sound like it's a big deal. And as simple as having a true business plan. And I never had one until I taught someone how to do it. I never had one until I was told, hey, you're the team leader, go teach the business planning clinic. And I thought, well, this is going to be really interesting because I can teach it, and I've never had one. Though, you know what? I'll go teach it. And, if you're taking notes or thinking about it, I've known for a long time and been told so many times, if you want to know something really well, go teach it to somebody. And that's the ultimate path to mastery. So having a business plan, and then really when I started having multiple accounts and I started having actual business accounts, it forced me to act like a business. And then when you have enough people around you, you're also forced to act like a business. And so a lot of agents will think, you know what, when I have people around me, I'll go act like a business. And the truth is, when you act like a business, that's when you'll actually create people around you. In bold, we call it be, do, have, and that's what that is. I mean, that's a great example of that bold law.
Awesome. So for those of you guys watching, he just mentioned the idea of teaching it. That's one of 4 steps in neuro-linguistic programming. One is you're going to learn from a teacher. Number 2 is you're going to model after someone that's doing it. Number 3 is you're going to actually go do it. And the 4th is you're going to share what you're learning. So if you want to retain this information, click that share button so that you can actually start putting that out there. So what was the first step? You had that shift. You had that business plan. Hey, you know what? I don't want to just sell 100 homes, me doing listings and buyers. I want to go get 100-something agents, and I want to build an empire, and I want to create value for these guys. What was the first step you had to put into play after that business plan started?
You know, that the way that you describe it, I like the way you describe it better because you give me more credit than probably what's due. Like it sounds like it was a better, well thought out plan than it was, and it wasn't. Now, thank you though. I'm going to have you write my bios from here on out because you do a better job. In 2010, when I decided I wanted to go back into production, the end of 2010, almost in 2011, I said, you know what, I want to start a real estate sales team in Portland, Oregon. And at the time, I had just moved that year to Vancouver, Washington, about 15 miles away. And so I didn't even live in Portland. And I remember thinking I'd like to sell 100 plus homes my first year of having the real estate business in Portland, though I don't want to go on any appointments. So I don't want to meet with buyers or sellers. I just want to run the organization and lead the business. What pushed me into expansion was that I wanted to build a business that had a ceiling so high, an umbrella so high that the very best people in the organization didn't have to leave me. And the truth is, if it's a normal real estate sales team, which can be highly performance based and highly productivity based and highly profitable, unless they're going to buy the team from you, they don't usually have somewhere to go. There's 2 or 3 roles they can move into, though the ceiling shows up pretty fast. And in expansion, when Gary was talking about expansion, I thought, shoot, there's a world where there is no ceiling. How far can we go, and how far can we build this together? And so you give me more credit than is due. My job was, how do I build an organization that's so big the very best people don't have to leave,
or don't want to leave, right? Like, where else are they going to go? That was for me over the last year. I had to have this shift because I was doing 70 to 85 deals every year on my own, and I was getting burnt out. I was tired of doing it, right? And then I had this shift from, okay, I don't need my next listing. I need my next talented person to go into business with. Like, where's that person? Where am I going to find it? And when I stopped prospecting listings, started prospecting talented people, it's like I didn't have to sell houses anymore. It was
you make an interesting comment. One of the best lessons I've learned from a mentor of mine, Diana Kokoska, was she said, Cody, the best thing you can ask is a question of who. Not why, not what, not where. Those are all good, though she's taught me the best question is who. And you just said it. Who do I need to have in my organization? Who can I be in business with? And so sometimes it's just a matter of stopping myself and saying, who can solve this problem? Who do I have to be?
Yep. Awesome. Cool. So going forward, then you started expansion, you started recruiting. What is one tip, because we don't have a ton of time here, what is one tip to finding that who?
So I think there's 2, and the first is this. Number 1, have something they'd want to be a part of. If you're a mess right now as a real estate agent, and most people that recruit other agents into their business, number 1, it's not really a business. They're just putting 2 or 3 people together and calling it that and saying, cool, we'll all just sell homes. I'm selling, 20 homes a year or 30 homes a year, and I'm going to go get Bob on the group or the team, and Bob sells 15 a year. So together we do 40 or 45, and then we're going to get Susie, and Susie does 12. So now we're at 60. That's not a business, right? Yep. And so the first is this: have something that they'd want to be a part of. And it might be worthy to go back in time and go, all right, one of the best questions to ever ask is, what's lacking in our industry, or what problems are in our industry, and how can I solve it? You find a problem and then you go and solve it or provide a solution to it. What you've created by default is called a business, and then you use a business plan, and both of them matter. The other piece is this: recruiting real estate agents, and the word recruiting is got a dirty connotation to it. The truth is, it's attracting. Who do I have to be that I can attract great agents who want to be in business with me? And the truth is, we're all in business with somebody, whether it's a broker, brokerage, or team, or expansion. It's all the same thing. So what I've learned is you provide people a bridge from where they are to where they want to be, and that bridge ends up being called recruiting. Though it's not, it's just a bridge, and you're saying, great, here's where you are, here's where you want to be, here's what I could help to make you walk across this faster. Do you want to get there quicker?
Awesome. So I wondered why you guys never called it attract, it's recruit select. Why was it never attract select? I didn't get that.
Well, and now of course it's career visioning.
Provisioning,
And so
yeah.
now it's, yeah, we,
I'm, I'm,
which is like the big brother to it.
yeah, it's amazing. Like that was the missing pieces for me. I've gone through that 3 times. You were one of the instructors at it. Like that's just shifted big time the way it was taught. So I went to recruit select like 3 times too, and it was like it wasn't clicking. That makes sense.
Sure.
So you track that next talented individual. Now it's their first day. What's the first 100 days, first 90 days to make sure that they're actually producing and creating a return on the investment?
You know, if I were to coach somebody who said, "Look, Cody, I'm gonna hire Bob, and what do I do the first 100 days?" I think that there's some, like in career visioning, we teach 30, 60, 90, and we teach how to move somebody through 30, 60, 90. And the truth is, you don't look at it as their first 100 days. You truly look at it as their first 30 days.
Yep.
When the 30 days is done, then you get another 30 days. Though for the typical real estate agent building a real estate sales team, somebody came in and go, you know what, I've got this new hire, and Cody, can you give me some input on my 100-day plan? And I said, yeah. And the first input is, let's do a 10-day plan. If we don't have a 10-day plan, we don't need the other 90 days. And if we don't have a 1-day plan, we don't need the 10-day plan. Now, once you've hired 10 real estate agents and you've walked them through a 100-day plan, or let's say 10 transaction coordinators, or 10, whatever it is, ISAs or telemarketers, whatever terms you want to use, showing assistants, it doesn't matter. Once you've done it 10 or 12 times, you look down and go, cool, I've actually compiled a great 100-day plan. So you don't need a 100-day plan. In other words, the old saying is this: you don't have to be great to start, you have to start to be great.
Yep.
And so when it comes to the 100-day plan, you don't need a great one. You need a great 1-day plan. Let's just get through today. Then we'll do tomorrow. Then we'll do next week. So the first thing is this. I believe this is more important. You've got skill sets, and then you have habits. If I could move somebody through skill sets and habits, and if they're willing to stick with me, we'll move them through a 100-day plan. We'll move them through and they'll be successful. Those skill sets and habits, I don't need them setting appointments. I need them building the skill sets and then doing the habits that will bring appointments. You and I both know this. We know that if we do the right things and we do them the right way, what are we going to eventually find? Results. Yeah, I mean, activities will beget the results. And so, there's plenty of agents out there who didn't do well in the beginning of their career and they kill it today. Somebody I know fairly well, Bruce Hardy, is a mega agent, has been for years, and of course now he runs a region for Keller Williams. And Bruce shared with me one night. It was after teaching a class of how to sell 200 homes in a year. And after teaching that class, we were having coffee. He looked at me and goes, "Cody, did you know that I didn't sell a home for the first 9 months?" Not one. And I'm sitting there going, "Dude, I just took a class from you on how to sell 200. You didn't sell one for 9 months." And for those 9 months, he would tell you, what I did was I did the activities. And then it became a gut check, or how long am I willing to stick with the activities in the face of no result? Yep. And of course, the results showed up massively. Bruce went on to sell 200 and 250 homes a year, year after year after year. Though, what would you think of a typical agent right down the hallway who hasn't sold a home in 8 months? You'd go, well, shoot, maybe you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, you start to wonder.
Yeah, sure. You start to judge, right? And in reality, they might be doing the exact right things. Now, in today's world, I don't know that it takes 8 or 9 months. I mean, we have a new agent in our hub, here in Portland, who in her second month as being a real estate agent had 10 new escrows. 10 new escrows.
Doable.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
So one thing I took from you in that last career visioning course was, okay, we talked about the 100-day plan, but I was like, okay, what's the first 10-minute plan, right? So we had started the 10-minute huddle every single day, the stand-up meeting, right? Like those, we do a personal rock and a business rock every single morning, and we celebrate the personal victory and the business victory from the day before. That shifted us 3 or 4 years forward just by getting that 10-minute focus every day. So I appreciate that. What are you
like
on time?
That. Well, and I'm okay for a few more minutes if you are.
Cool.
I love you giving credit for that. And I stole that stand up from Diana Kokoska as well. I mean, that's where I learned it. I think one of the comeuppances in our industry is when you realize you probably don't need to create anything. What you need to do instead is look at people that have gone before you, pick up the pieces. Success leaves clues. What are they doing? And let's just go do what they're doing. And there's a piece of our fabric to being an entrepreneur. There's a piece of our fabric to being an entrepreneur in real estate that we want to create. And one of the highest forms of creation is to look at what people are doing and create it within yourself, instead of just hoping for the best and doing something that was a harebrained idea that may or may not even work.
So moving forward then, it's like, okay, you're not focusing on hiring salespeople anymore. Now you're focusing on hiring regional directors, or what is your
Correct.
major role now?
So, there are people in the organization whose main focus is to hire real estate agents, and we call them partners. They're already real estate agents, and so their job is to hire partners. My job is to make sure that we have an organization that partners want to be a part of. My job is to make sure we have an organization that regional directors want to be a part of. And so we hired a regional director most recently in Virginia, a guy named Michael Coffey, who I've looked up to and admired for years and years and years. The guy's been a mega agent. He's done a handful of things within Keller Williams. He's a rock star in his own right. And so who do I need to be that a rock star like that wants to be in business with us? And I saw an email this morning that he's hired his first agent in Virginia with United Home Group, and he's been with us for just a few days. And so my job has shifted to who do I need to be in business with on the regional director side, and their job is what partners do we need to be in business with. I mean, Chad in the Southeast has 42 or 43 partners. That's awesome.
So how do you attract those people, or what do you even pick to start attracting? Do you pick the area based on the person, or do you pick the person based on the area?
Well, that's a really good question. And in expansion, so I've had the pleasure of being able to deliver ESO expansion systems orientation, alongside of Kristen Cole, who's also been a mentor of mine for years and years and years. And when we teach ESO, we teach the ink blot model. And so if you're in one city, you move to the city right next door to you. In fact, if you've been a real estate agent for a long time in a city, you've probably already been pulled to the city next door to you. In fact, in ESO, we tell the story of when Gary said, shoot, we should be doing expansion. Expansion could be the next evolution of a real estate agent. It was because he was coaching a real estate agent who said, Gary, because of my radio advertising, I've been pulled into the county next door to me. And I was paying for ads or leads in a certain city. And what I didn't realize was that the syndication of that radio show right next door in the county over next to me was a #1 rated show. I didn't even know that. And I started getting all these listing appointments in a different county, and I went, whoa. And so that created expansion. And so to answer your question simply, I think that it is geography based. Where do we need to be in business? So I'm in Portland, Oregon. The most, and I didn't do it this way, I did it the wrong way. The most logical step would be, let's go to Salem. Salem's 45 miles away. I could drive there. They could drive here. It's a similar style of selling real estate. Let's just drive 45 minutes and sell homes there. I didn't do it that way. I went to a whole different state first, and my job has become how many mistakes can we make so that others can make fewer of those mistakes. And so I would tell you, there's some areas, like if you're in Anchorage, Alaska, and you want to expand, you don't have a lot of choices. You're probably going to go out of state very, very fast. Yep. If you're in Seattle, Washington, and you'd like to expand, well, there's all kinds of communities that are all around Seattle that you could drive to within an hour or two and expand from there. If you're in Twin Cities, Minnesota, you have plenty of cities to expand to that you could drive to. Keep it simple. Maybe even in the same MLS, in the same board of realtors, you don't have multiple dues. You can be licensed in both. It's very simple. Though today we've gotten so big so fast that today it's more about talent. Who do we want to be in business with? And if they happen to be in Virginia, well then poof, United Home Group goes to Virginia.
So you have a filter process and say, hey, this guy fits our culture. We can align with him or not. And if he doesn't, it doesn't make sense. Is that what you're saying?
Well, here's the deal. So someone just made a comment. Great stuff, Cody. Jeremy Williams. Jeremy Williams is our regional director in Texas South Texas region. Mm-hmm. And we use the same regional lines as Keller Williams. We are not smarter than KW. They put the money into let's draw regions, and we went, well, shoot, let's just use their regional map. And so we use that regional map. And so here's Jeremy Williams, who we were turned on to by somebody else. We had a few conversations with Jeremy. We brought Jeremy out to Portland to see, all right, let's go through the career visioning process. We loved Jeremy, and Jeremy's a great leader, and Jeremy's doing amazing things. Well, poof, United Home Group goes to South Texas. Boom, we didn't say, like, hey, we want to go to South Texas, let's go find a leader. We said, no, where's the talent going to take us? Yeah. And so in the beginning, I wouldn't have done it that way. where we
didn't
are
say,
today. That's
hey,
exactly
where
how we
can I
do
go
it.
get the best barbecue over and over again? You're
No.
like, oh,
Yeah, great
Jeremy's
point.
the guy.
Jeremy's the barbecue master. Yeah. So if you're watching, Jeremy's a great barbecue guy, and he does barbecue at his house at 6. So just head over to Jeremy's house at 6 today, and he's feeding everybody
Be
who
there around
shows up.
6. Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on. I've got to actually move to my next meeting here, but I appreciate you coming on. Let me interview you. I look forward to seeing you some more, learning from you, and seeing your expansion. So thank you for being on today, Cody.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for giving us a chance.
How can talented people that you're looking to attract get a hold of your organization if they'd like to find out more about their opportunity there?
You know, it's I'm still real easy. We believe in crawling before we walk, and walking before we run, and running before we sprint or marathon. So you can just drop me a line, codygibson@kw.com, or shoot me a message via Facebook. And you know, we're not so big that that I'm not, you know, involved with that. So please shoot me a message, and we'd love to have a conversation.
Awesome, man. Anything else I can do for you?
No, we're good. Thanks for the opportunity today, and I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing big things. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll see you soon. We'll see you, Cody.
All right. Have a good day.
Whoops, double tap that. Hey guys, that was Cody Gibson. If you were interested in learning more about his organization or possibly affiliating with it, go at, you heard it, Cody Gibson at kw.com. One of the things that I would just challenge you to do is, like, what is your goal? There's only going to be so much time that you're going to get burnt out being a sales agent. It happened to me, and I didn't want to get out of real estate. In fact, for a while, I was like, maybe I should get out of real estate and do something else. But this is what I know. This is what I love. And I realized that there was plenty of people that wanted to be in an organization that I was able to create. Cody has just scaled it into 69 different cities, right? Now that is much, much larger than where we're at with our organization, but it just shares with you the possibility that you can have inside of the real estate world. So maybe if you'd like to even consider joining our organization, the WGR Real Estate Sales Team, let me know. Send me a message. We have currently 4 junior agents on staff, 2 senior agents, and myself. And we are planning on expanding here the first year into our next market, which would be the Bountiful and Salt Lake area. Appreciate you guys. Jeremy, thanks for being on. Mari, thanks for being here. Ben Olson, haven't seen your name in a while. Bendo, Tara, glad you're here. One of my favorite clients of all time. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see you. Share the stream. Share it.